Welcome back. It is the Flow Friday Sports Show on Flow FM, and it is time to chat with Sally Bywater and have a look at all things KNT netball. Good to speak with you again, Sally. How are you?
I'm very well and great to be back for another week.
Well, let's start off, Sally, with the big news from the weekend in KNT netball. Mundalla beat Padthaway 98-78. It was a big margin, but the margin really isn't the story. This is the end of Padthaway in the A grade, at least for the rest of this season.
Obviously a big win here to Mundalla last week by 70 goals. But Padthaway really fighting each week to get a team on the court. So, it's come to, they put in for an A-grade exemption for the rest of the season, which was granted this week. So, obviously no Padthaway A-grade for the rest of the year, but they still have their other three senior sides. So, great to see them back out on the court each week, but just no A-grade for the rest of the season.
And Sally, just fill us in a little bit on the nature of the struggle for Padthaway. We know they hadn't won a game in the A-grade this season, but the issues go a lot deeper than that. It is down to just numbers, player availability, multiple players having to play multiple games on game day just to field teams. So it's good to know that there will be teams in the lower grades still, but just fill our listeners in a little bit on the severity of the situation for Padthaway.
Yes, obviously they probably started off with good numbers at the start of the season, being able to fill these four sides quite comfortably. But a few season-ending injuries to a few players, which were key players in their A-grade competition, and just a few other niggles. So players been missing for weeks, and a few are not available come July for different reasons. And really probably half a dozen people every week having to play two games, which as we know takes its toll week after week. So getting to training would just be a big effort too. So it's great to see them being able to do that. And some juniors have been blooded up in the senior grade, which was fantastic to see because they don't have a Division 1 side either. So they don't have much depth, but the other three teams are hoping to be very competitive for the rest of the season.
Well, it will be sad to see a team go. It's always sad to see a team go from any sporting competition, especially for reasons such as that one. They gave it a great fight this year, managed to get through 9 rounds getting a team on the park, but that will be it for the Padthaway Lions for this year, and we certainly will be hoping that they can reload and put a team into the A grade for next season and hopefully get a few wins on the board. But in the meantime, it is a big win for Mundalla there in Padthaway's final game for the year. Let's move on to one of the other games from the weekend, and it was a disappointing result for Kybe Bowlight. They went down to Keith at Keith, 66-31. We probably expected the result, but it's disappointing for Kybe to go down by that much, I would think.
Absolutely, it is a big margin here and a great win by Keith. Nothing to take away from them, but Kybe were a bit short on plays. They were probably missing their key goalie, which makes a big difference getting those goals on the board. But it was a high-intensive game, minimal errors from both teams, and quite close at quarter time. But Keith just shooting accuracy was great for the game. Defensive pressure all over was good, so they had a comfortable lead by half-time and just comfortable in the end. And Kybe, let's hope they regroup this week and play some better netball.
Border Districts had a good win over Bordertown, 44-31. That one is probably right about what we expected.
Yes, it was. This was a great game here. Bordertown, they had a slow start, so they were down by 10 goals at half-time, but they regrouped in the third quarter and won that quarter by 3, but then Border Districts finished the game off well here. We thought they'd get the win in this one, but it was not too bad from Bordertown's efforts.
We'll save the closest match of the round for last, so that takes us now to Naracoorte's win over Kingston. A good away win for Naracoorte, 68-50. Pretty good margin there and plenty of goals on the board.
Yeah, great high-scoring game here by both teams, 68-50. So, in a couple of other games, Kingston could have got a win with their 50 goals, but a fantastic game here by Naracoorte. One quarter they scored 21 goals and one goal, another quarter 19. So it was a great all-team performance by them. But Kingston really putting up to them and playing some great netball as well. But a good win by Naracoorte.
All right, and that brings us to the closest game of the round, which was Penola travelling to Lucindale and coming away with a 7-goal win, 54-47. Really interesting matchup here between two of the good teams of the comp, and I say two of the good teams because Lucindale, they are sitting 6th on the ladder with a 4-5 record, but we know that they're good enough to beat just about anyone on their day, and they were close to Penola in this one, who are currently sitting in 3rd.
Yeah, great game here by this one. This was our team match of the round from last week, and it really did show that it was. Lucindale did have a couple of players out, so they weren't at full strength, but that's beside the point in the game of netball. So a great win here by Penola to get that win, and obviously Lucindale now slipping down to 6th, so they'll have to regroup, and we know they can probably beat any team on the park. So a great game here by this side, and a great win for Penola.
Just 2 games separating Penola in 3rd and Kybe Bowlight in 7th. Lucindale on the wrong end of that result. They're in 6th, 2 games behind Penola, but almost with an identical percentage. So it does sort of show that the competition is very close. A lot of those teams around the middle of the ladder are really pretty close to the same level, and it's just about who plays better on the day.
Absolutely. You've probably got Mundalla and Keith being those top 2 teams with 9 wins and 8 wins. But apart from that, 3rd to 7th, anything could happen in a given day. And even come down to Bordertown and Kingston 8th to 9th. They can really shake it up as well. So it's a really great competition, and can't wait to see what happens in this last few rounds.
All right, Sally, let's look to this weekend's action, the round 10 action. And with Padthaway's withdrawal, we're back to a 9-team comp and a team on the bye each week. Padthaway was scheduled to play Naracoorte, so they've got the bye first up. They get an extra week to enjoy last week's win. But the action kicks off tonight, Sally. We've got a Friday night game under lights between Keith and Bordertown at Keith.
Yeah, well, it's exciting to see. We like to have these Friday night games every now and then, and being at Keith, it's playing indoors, so it doesn't matter what the weather's going to be like. So it'll be a great win. They did the same thing last year between these 2 clubs, and it was a great atmosphere and a great game between them. When they played in round 1, Keith got the win by 10 goals, so hopefully we'll have another similar scoreline to that. I think Keith will get the win, but let's hope for a great game and a great crowd. All
right, and on to the Saturday action, tomorrow's games. Kingston are hosting Border Districts. Good chance for Border Districts to get a win on the road here.
Yeah, they had a nice win last week, and they'll be really wanting to keep going with that. So I think they'll have a good win here. I think they'll get the win against Kingston, but when they played in that first round, Borders were only winners by 6 goals. So I think we'll have another tight tussle, but Borders showing some good form this time of the year, so it should be a good win for them.
This one is going to be a bit of a clash of the Titans. Mundalla are hosting Penola. Mundalla have been unstoppable this year, 9-0 with a percentage of 178. If anyone can stop them, Penola will certainly be one of the hottest contenders to do that. This should be a cracker. This one's certainly match of the round.
Yeah, I definitely think so. I think it'll be a great game. Mundalla obviously undefeated, still in a fantastic percentage and really showing why they're on top of the ladder. But, Penola's snuck into that 3rd position with 6 wins and 3 losses, so they're really showing some good form in this middle half of the season. With a pretty big margin last time they played, 53-36 in Mundalla's favour, but Penola were still finding their feet at the start of the year, so I think we'll have a closer margin and a great game, and Mundalla for a win in this game.
All right, tips in for Mundalla in the match of the round. Lucindale are hosting Kybe Bolite in our last match of the round, and this one is very fascinating to me. Like we just said, both of those teams sort of in that middle pack, but right at the bottom of the middle pack. So they're around the mark, but as it stands right now, they're not going to be playing finals. So both teams desperately need a win to get to the upper echelon of that middle pack, and only one of them can walk away victorious tomorrow.
Absolutely. I think this will be a really season-defining game between these 2 clubs. It'll be a fantastic game. They've 4 wins and 5 losses, so they need to have this win this week to really start their season, get going again. So they're both coming off a loss last week. They'll be wanting to regroup and have a great training to get the points on the board this week. So I think it'll be a great game, and I'll tip Lucindale in a close one.
All right, tips in for Lucindale. We are going to be 10 rounds down by this time tomorrow, Sally. 10 rounds down, 6 to go. Everyone's played everyone once. We've had Padthaway withdraw. It's all happening in the K&T Netball Association.
Never a dull moment, which we'd love to see. And, hopefully we'll have more great games. And, obviously only 6 more rounds and we'll hit finals, so it's not that far off. And, teams are really wanting to get some good form on the ground. So let's hope some good games this weekend.
The season is absolutely flying by. Good luck to everyone in action tomorrow, or if you're in action at Keith in that match between Keith and Bordertown tonight. All the best. Sally, thank you very much to you. Always good to have you on the show each week. Enjoy your weekend. We'll chat to you next Friday.
Thank you. We'll see you next week.